Hey guys, it's Sabrina. I actually just finished a coaching call with a business client of mine, and I got an inspirational hit, which is why I'm doing this live stream right now. So if you're looking at the title, I put down intuition and business. What space does intuition have in your business, or what space are you allowing intuition to have in your business? The reason why I'm asking is that being in business is a very scary journey, especially right before you start. Because entrepreneurship feels like it's very unfamiliar, like you don't have, hey Nita, welcome. Entrepreneurship or starting your own business feels unfamiliar because you don't have a boss to, manage you around, and you feel like if there's any failures or any challenges, that it's all up to you to address, and it's all your fault if anything bad happens in business, and maybe you're not, you're telling yourself you're not ready for all that. So the thing about business or being entrepreneurial or starting your entrepreneurial journey, is that it's the strongest path to self-development, because it pushes you to do things that are outside of your comfort zone. It forces you actually to be honest with yourself in terms of what are your weaknesses, what are your strengths, how are you maybe even in self-denial or self-sabotaging even your own gifts to the world. Hey Tracy, how's it going? So intuition, like I mentioned earlier, I just finished a coaching call with a private coaching client of mine, and she had a lot of money energy in her chart, okay? However, she's struggling. So even when I looked at the Feng Shui of her place, it wasn't pointing to financial struggles, and definitely there were easy ways for her to activate better, prosperous flow in her home. And once she does that, she will definitely see a shift in her finances. But remember, I always operate at the 3 levels, right? The heaven luck, the earth luck, and the mankind luck. The heaven luck is your astrological chart, your karma, your destiny. The earth luck is your feng shui, right? Which is your external energy. And then the mankind luck is the internal energy now. What are your thoughts? What kind of thought patterns do you have? What kind of emotional patterns do you have? Where business is concerned, if you're always fearful, and even fearful of your own talent, of your own gift, of your own ability to change other people's lives, then the best feng shui or the strongest money energy in the astrological chart is not going to be able to bring you across the finish line. You need to cross that finish line yourself, okay? And that means doing things or acting or taking, just making decisions or taking actions that are so scary, and then you end up not doing it, or you let procrastination kind of come in the way. So I tell this client of mine that her intuitive powers are actually very strong based on her astrology. So her question was, so how do I tap into that intuition? How do I know if this is what I need to do for my business? So I told her, obviously, to meditate. Hey Zed Raquel, welcome. So I told my client to meditate, because meditation allows us to have a direct connection with our higher self, a connection with our inner self, a connection with God, a connection to the universe. Hey Najwa. And that connection usually, almost all the time, wants what is best for you. So when you're meditating on a business question, Let's say, okay, should I be investing in working with a coach, or should I be putting $8,000 advertising with this newspaper, or should I be taking on a partner, or should I be adding another product line into my business, which will need a lot of capital investment. When these scary business decisions come up, and you can meditate on that, okay? Because as spiritual entrepreneurs, our products and services are here to bring a light into our clients, customers, and patients' world. You could be, hey Diana, you could be a jewelry store, but there's a spiritual service there. When someone who has worked hard all her life and saved up for like a string of pearl necklace, and she goes to your store and buys a string of pearl necklace to you, that's your spiritual service. That's you being the vehicle and helping her claim her worth, her worthiness of having abundance in her life, having physical, material possessions that she cherishes, right? It doesn't matter what business or what product or what service you have. There's always a spiritual component to it. And if you can tap into that spiritual component and make sure, hey Len, and make sure that your business thrives, because that is how you serve and support your clients, customers, and patients, that makes you a spiritual entrepreneur. That makes you answering your call. But going back to her question about how do I make sure when I'm meditating that the answer that I'm getting is intuition or my higher self or God speaking through me, or how do I, basically her question was, how do I know that's the message that I'm meant to hear? So a big tip is that, or let me backtrack a little bit. So there's our higher self, our God mind, or our universal mind, however you want to call it. There's that higher voice versus the ego voice, okay? So when you're meditating on a business question or a life question, relationship or health or whatever, when you're meditating on a question and you're seeking guidance or you're seeking an answer, the first hit that comes to you is usually the intuition, is usually your higher self. The only thing is, it only has like split second to occupy your heart and your mind before the ego mind swoops in and plays on your insecurities, plays on your fear, plays on your worry, plays on your self-sabotage, plays on your self-denial, and will give you an answer that takes you away from your higher path. Which is why a lot of people say, well, I meditated on it, I got an answer, I acted on it, and it didn't work. It's because the ego mind, and a lot of us, we've operated our lives and made our decisions and taken actions based on ego-based thinking, ego-based feeling. And because of that, our ego voice is so much stronger than our intuitive voice. The intuitive voice compared to the ego voice, the intuitive voice is like this meek little voice in the back of our head, back of our heart, back of our inner eyes that sees and feels and thinks the way we need to see and feel and think. But it's very soft, only because we don't allow it to be strong, only because we're afraid of giving power to it. And so when the ego mind sees that and comes into your meditation and capitalizes on all the fears and worries and lack of self-worth, lack of self-confidence, lack of self-image, whatever it is that we're challenged with, that feeds the ego mind. And then it gives us an answer. And we take that answer and we run with it. The ego, so the one key, well, not just the one, but the first key in knowing what is intuition and what is ego is what is that first hit that comes to you when you ask that question. What is that first hit? Listen to it, receive it, accept it, and act on that. That is faith. That is using your faith and your spirituality and the authenticity of the message coming through you and working that in, not just in your business, but in any area in your life. And sometimes the answers are things that you never thought of. And then you get that first intuitive hit and you're like, really? You want me to do this? But the key is to trust. And the more you learn to trust your intuition, the stronger your intuition is going to come through you. Then the stronger that voice is going to be. Like some people, they have really strong intuition and they have no problem listening to it. Right? All of us can get there. I do a lot of my business decisions when I meditate. Right? But unless and until you can protect your meditative space energetically so that the ego doesn't come in, unless and until you know how to do that, then you need to be more aware, okay, what's that first intuitive hit? Okay. And then the second piece to knowing, okay, is it the intuition or is it the ego that's talking to me, is really, what is it telling you to do? If it's keeping you in a space of fear, of lack, if it's keeping you in a space of hopelessness or helplessness, or if it's keeping you in a space of fear and worry, then you know it's very likely the ego that's talking to you. Because what makes the ego strong and powerful is for it to hold us back in our lives, for it to hold us back from the mission that is calling us. Hey Mariana, welcome. Right? The ego mind, knowing the ego mind, your awareness of the ego mind, of its power over you. And then through that awareness, if you start saying no to the ego mind and start saying yes to your intuition, to your higher self, to your universal mind, to your God mind, whatever you want to call it, that's when we get into ease and flow. When you start living in faith, that's when many miracles, even bigger miracles, come through. I've seen it happen in my life, and it's just the biggest breakthroughs come from opening yourself up to faith. The biggest breakthroughs in life, and especially in business, comes from the other side of making a decision or taking an action that scares the pants off of you. Because it's so out of your familiar box. Right behind that action, right behind that decision is usually a life-changing point. And a lot of us don't do it because we feel the fear and we cower and we hide. And I've done that. I've done it. I'm not saying I'm perfect. And there's been many, many times where I do my meditation and I ask for an answer. I take the easier route and I listen to the ego mind. I'm not saying that I'm 100%, immune to it. We all have our challenges around overcoming the ego mind. And in fact, I truly believe that's our biggest spiritual lesson for everyone in this world. Is really to overcome that ego mind so that our connection with ourself, our connection with our higher self, that always, always, always has our best intention at heart. That's miraculous living. That's inspired living. That's how you get into the flow, and that's how you really turn on the tap of abundance. Right? Especially like in business. So I've shared this in a different live stream before, but that was hard. I had a client that intuitively I knew I shouldn't work with, right? So I worked it out. I say, okay, you know what? I'm gonna, cause she has an 8,000, well, just under 8, like 7,000 square foot home that she wanted me to Feng Shui and renovate. But the energy just felt off, right? The energy felt off. And so I gave her a quote, which is a higher quote because it's a huge house. There's going to be a lot of time on my end invested to make sure that everything is following the Feng Shui principles, right? Initially she balked, and then she came back to me via email. And I was like, oh my gosh, even with that quote, she still wants to work with me. So the ego mind was like, oh man, I finally arrived. I quoted someone 5 figures to do Feng Shui, and she said yes, right? But there's something internally that just didn't sit well. It's not very obvious, to be honest with you. It's just things that I've been picking up from my communication with this potential client. And then I told my husband, I'm like, it just doesn't feel like I should be working with her. And I meditated on it, and it felt really good in terms of not taking this person on as my client. And then there's the ego mind that comes in. Whoa, you're gonna say no to a 5-figure consulting gig? Like, sure, she can be a pain in the behind, but you know, just take the check, cash it, do the work, and you know, get out of her way, right? That's the ego mind talking. And then, you know, there's the message of, when else are you going to get another chance like this to work on a beautiful home in a very affluent neighborhood? There's going to be, you know, testimonials, or people are going to be wondering who did the house and stuff like that. That's the ego mind piping through my meditation and even my daily living, right? I'm doing other stuff, and that ego mind's just like screaming in my ear. And I go back to meditation. Should I or should I not take this person as a client? And it was like no doubt in my soul, not just my heart, but deep in my soul, that this person is not aligned with my values, not aligned with my integrity, not aligned with how I want to deal, how I want to do my work, right? I don't cut corners. So I emailed her back and I said, you know what? I believe there's unfortunately no fit in this. I wish you well. I gave her a few other names of other classical Feng Shui consultants that she can help. And I said, I wish you well. I'm not able to take on this project. And that was it. And it felt so good. It never felt so good to reject a 5-figure income, to be honest with you. And even my husband, the funny thing about my husband is, usually when he looks at the amount of money, he'll be like the ego mind. He'll be like, just do it, just take the money, do the work, and be done with it. But he asked me, he was like, would you be able to replace this 5 figures with other smaller consulting gigs? I'm like, heck yeah. Heck yeah. And then guess what? A week after that, I had other smaller gigs, but added up, they made up for what I lost in that one. So taking that on faith, I took that intuitive hit on faith. And I also had faith that the universe always has my back. That even though I said no to this client, that other opportunities are going to come my way. That I'm going to make up for it or more, right? And I have to tell you, if this came to me 3, maybe 4 years ago, I'd have taken it. I wouldn't even have to meditate on that. I would feel the unease in my soul, but I would just like push it aside and do it, right? So, but to be honest, I was very proud of myself for taking that intuitive message and having faith that there's more abundance for me. And the universe and God just let other miracles unfold in my life. Because I took a stand in not cutting corners. I took a stand in only putting out work with integrity. I took a stand with only working with my highest and best clients. Right? So that is my share for you guys for this live stream, in that, sure, business is scary. Business is many, 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 many nights of sleepless nights, many nights of nightmares, maybe even. Tracy says, with that said, the more I admire you and looking forward to be able to attend your course. It's truly not all about the money. Exactly. It's truly, it really is. The money is the gravy, and it's hard to get there, to be honest with you. Because, I mean, especially when you start doing business, like every little bit counts. And you almost tell yourself, I don't care how the money comes in, right? I just need money because I need to pay my bills. That's fine. Everyone has those phases in life, in business. Everyone has that. I went through it, right? I went through that, and I am happy that now that I have those of you guys who watch my webinar, my Feng Shui Your Business webinar, you will have heard me talk about my the magnetic client attraction system that I use in my business. It took me a few years to actually have that solid system in place, right? Which I now teach my current students on how to do that in 6 months. Okay, what took me, I would say, like 3 years, I would give them, my students, the building blocks in 6 months. However fast they want to build their building is up to them, but I'm giving them the bricks. Okay, these are the bricks that you put on the foundational level. These are the second level bricks. Like, I give all that to them within 6 months of working with me. Yeah, so it took me a while to get to that point where I don't need to work for money. And the more I stand in that space, the more prosperity comes to me. Because the thing about law of attraction, the more desperate and frustrated you are, the more you're actually pushing it away, whatever it is that you desire, be it love or health or money. Right? The secret to magnetizing your desires is being clear that you want it in your life, claiming your worth, that you are worthy of that which you want to manifest. And then at the same time, relinquishing your control about when it happens, how it happens, right? I mean, I have my income goal for this year. I don't mind sharing it with you guys. My income goal is $500,000. My big, hairy, scary goal is $500,000 for this year. And just saying it gives me like pitter-patter in my heart, but I'm going to work towards it. I'm not going to let my procrastination, my fear, my worry, my what ifs, my buts, I'm not going to let that get in the way. It's going to come in my brain space or in my heart space for a few seconds, but I've cultivated my inner strength enough that I will see it and I will like push it aside. And I will let fear and the prosperous energy guide the rest of the way, right? And my intuition and God and my angels and my spirit guides guide me the rest of the way. That is how I build my business, really. So everyone has space for that, okay? There's always spiritual guidance in building your business so that you can impact more clients, customers, and patients, and so that you can make more money doing it, right? Money is not a dirty word. It's great to have money because then you can have more options in life. Then you can help more people, right? Through your philanthropic work and stuff like that. So don't make money the dirty word here. And don't make intuition the dirty word here, going back to the topic of this live stream. So I'm just gonna leave. I thought of maybe making this a 5-minute live stream, but I guess you guys know me, it's never short with me. So Thank you for the likes. I would love it if you guys share this video with other spiritual entrepreneurs who might resonate with using, allowing intuition to come through, especially in building their business. And if you guys have any feedback or comments, feel free to put it under this video. I'd love to hear your feedback and comments. Okay, you guys have a great day. Take care.